Welcome everybody to the Meet Damien channel. I am Damien, and today's live stream we're going to talk about some things that are worrying me about the markets right now for cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin. We'll talk about stock market. It seems like stock market's doing all right. But in this beginning of this live stream here, we're going to be talking about what I'm seeing here with Bitcoin dominance, what I'm seeing here with USDT Tether dominance. And then we'll be talking about, obviously the Bitcoin price, okay? And I'll get into your requests later on in the stream here. But I want to first talk about Bitcoin, what I don't like, what I'm seeing on the charts here for Bitcoin. And then we'll get into Bitcoin dominance and then USDT dominance and try to paint you the picture here that's not looking so great for cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin. And then I'll give you my thoughts about the FOMC meeting this upcoming Wednesday, and how they need to be careful with what they do and what they say here about the markets and what they're going to do with interest rates, because it could, send the markets over the edge when they don't intend to do so. So anyways, let's get into it. Let me just do a quick sound check, make sure you guys are able to hear me. Okay, I can hear myself good. All right, and let's get into it. So, the price of Bitcoin currently trading at 114,898, showing some extreme volatility out there. Because earlier this morning, probably while some of you guys were actually sleeping, we saw Bitcoin as high as 116,802. Okay, which technically on a daily time frame is a lower high than what we did here on Friday at 116,833, which is once again another lower high compared to what we did here on Friday, August 22nd, when we saw Bitcoin at 117,416. I highlighted this level here at 117,479. That's going to be an area of resistance if Bitcoin does get the bids and start pushing up to higher prices here. It's going to be hard for us to push through this resistance, because this has acted as support in the past, back here in July, where 117,400 was an area where we kind of we were closing above it, okay, for the most part, and using it as support every time it came down. And then we kind of used it as resistance here in August before we pushed past it and actually made new all-time highs. Try to use it as support a little bit here towards the middle to end of August, and then we lost it. Okay, so this $117,400 level is a crucial level for us to pay attention to if we're going to continue to be bullish here on Bitcoin. But the problem that I'm seeing here on the charts for Bitcoin, at least on the daily time frame, is that we can't even get up to that level. We can't even get up to that level to test it. Like we tried here on Friday at 116,800, and we lost that level. And then we tried again here on Monday morning while you guys were sleeping, and we weren't able to do that either. So we're making lower highs here, which still, gives more credence to the bearish case that Bitcoin topped out in August, and we're making just lower highs and now lower lows possibly as we continue a downtrend here on Bitcoin. That's not what we want to see here for Bitcoin. We actually have to push past and get up to that $117,400 level. Now, could interest rate cuts on Wednesday, could that be the catalyst that pushes us into that $117,000 level, which is important for us to get up to here in Bitcoin? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. How the markets react. I do have a Fibonacci level here that I measured. 117,000 and 118,000 on Bitcoin is an area for us to eyeball if we are going to be bullish here on Bitcoin. However, lower levels, which we're already testing right now with Bitcoin, is the 0.618 level at 114,400 needs to hold up. We were trying to hold 115,300 this weekend, and then we lost that. Now we're kind of playing around with 114,400, and let's see. How low did we come down here? We came down to 114,395. So we're in this golden pocket level here for Bitcoin on the Fibonacci level, for those who are using Fibonacci here. However, if we continue, going to lower prices here, we could end up seeing the 0.5 retracement at 111,362. Okay. And we also got the 50-day moving average, which could provide support at 112,684. So there is some potential support if we do go to lower prices here. It's not going to be a crazy, violent move down, I don't think, because we have to first lose the 50-day and we have to lose the 100-day moving average, which is sitting at $108,000 Bitcoin. But these are the levels to be looking out for if things get a little bit crazy and hectic in cryptocurrency world here. Let me just show you the liquidation map real quick here. I'm going to show you the Bitcoin liquidity. This is information coming off of CoinGlass, which is getting their data from Binance Exchange, which is the biggest cryptocurrency exchange in the world. So, you know, you got to give credence to the data that they got, because it shows us where, you know, prices might go based on this liquidation heat map. And the liquidation heat map is showing to the downside that we have some buy orders here, and at about $113,600, there's some longs that could get liquidated at that level before we get a bounce off 113,678 is what they're showing, about $68 million. So this is where the longs could get liquidated, where we could get a reaction before we bounce off the higher prices. So Bitcoin could come down roughly about another $1,000 from where it is right now at the $113,600 level before we get some support and get a reaction off that level. To the upside, we have some shorts that could get liquidated at 117,148, and I already said earlier in this live stream that 117,400 is a level to be looking out for, and that's where these shorts are hanging out. If we're able to push up to that $117,000 level, that could give us the extra liquidity that we need to move up to higher prices and maybe see like $119,000, $120,000 Bitcoin. But the way things are looking this week for Bitcoin, we could go as low as 111K or even 108K, or we could end up going higher prices where we might see 117 to 120K. And of course, we're right smack dab in the middle of it all at 114K. We're not sure where we're going to go. It all depends on what the Federal Reserve does on Wednesday. Now, speaking about the Federal Reserve, since I'm on the topic right now, if the FOMC does a very big interest rate cut, which I know the markets will love to see, is us getting like a 50 basis point interest rate cut, that could actually signal more panic in the markets than is necessary or warranted here. It could mean that the Federal Reserve is panicking about the state of the economy if they do a 50 basis point rate cut, and it could cause the markets to actually go down. Even though you would think interest rate cuts would be good, and it would be good over the long term for the markets if they bring the interest rates down 50 basis point. But initially, the shock value is that the market is expecting 25 basis points, and the Federal Reserve, in my opinion, should do 25 basis points. Because anything more than that would just shock the markets, and they can always continue cutting interest rates going into the following month of October, and I think they have another meeting in December as well, and they can do another one in January. They don't have to rush and get that 50 basis point interest rate cut. And we also know that inflation is still a problem, so they're probably not going to do that. But if they did, that would shock the markets, and I think it would shock it in a bad way, where we could see Bitcoin go to 108K or lower, because the markets, I don't think, are ready for a 50 basis point cut, because they're expecting a 25 basis point cut. And then we'll see what they have to say as far as like guidance in the meeting. Are they going to continue cutting interest rates? Because I feel like if they give the hints that they're willing to cut interest rates again going into next month and December, the markets are going to like that. That's probably the best news we could get on Wednesday is, we might get more interest rate cuts. It doesn't have to be a big rate cut right away, because we don't want to scare people and think like the Federal Reserve is behind the ball, even though some people have been saying they're behind the ball, as far as doing what they need to do. But if they could just show that, yes, they recognize that the jobs market is weak, and we need to start cutting interest rates and continue cutting interest rates, I think the market's going to love that. And that could be the the catalyst that sends us to higher prices here for Bitcoin and crypto. So I'm not completely bearish on crypto, guys, but I am a little bit worried, and I am expecting volatility here. You know, it really is looking like we could go as low as 108K, or we could see new all-time highs all in the same week. And I wouldn't be surprised if we did that in the same week. I wouldn't be surprised if we came down 108K and then finished the week off at 125K. The way things could go in this market here. So my advice for the leverage traders, the day traders out here this week, is don't go crazy on volatility, and don't go crazy on your leverage, because you're gonna get a lot of volatility. The volatility is gonna make up for whatever leverage you think you might need. So it might be better to have smaller positions and lighter leverage, because the market's gonna move in a crazy direction, going one way or the other, and you're gonna get what you need as far as whatever gains you're looking for. Could go either way, up or down, depending upon the volatility being increased. So I would say stick to small positions and lighter leverage. And I have to remind myself to do this too. Like, I'm only in one trade today, where sometimes you might see me in 4 or 5 trades, especially if the volatility is low and the market's not really moving. I'm only in one trade today. Actually, I guess you could say 2 trades, because I'm on another exchange. But still, like, the exchange that I usually use, which is Mexi, I'm only in one trade. When I normally do like 3, 4, 5 trades, because you're gonna get hurt trying to do a lot of leverage and a bigger position with the way the markets are reacting to you know, the possible news catalyst events that we're gonna be getting this week. Anyways, let me just try to catch up on the chat here real quick before I start getting into what I see for the altcoins with Bitcoin dominance and the USDT dominance. Let me just check up here. I see John 316's in the chat saying smash the like button, guys. Don't forget to hit that like button, smash that like button, because it really does help me out here, more so than you can believe or think. I know it doesn't really take much effort, and you might not think much of it, but hitting that like button really does help the YouTube algorithm start pumping and pushing the channel out there to other people who have never seen my channel before. And I really appreciate, guys, if you could just hit that like button for me, just to show that we have some good technical analysis here, and we want to share it with the world if we can. All right, and for my TikTok guys, all you gotta do is double tap your screen, and that's the like button right there. That sends the like. I see you guys hitting that like right now. I appreciate that. I'm actually gonna try to do another stream later on tonight, guys, if you guys are around. I might do a stream that's more geared towards live trading and just hanging out and talking about the markets and catching up on things. You know, I like watching football. I haven't really watched football, but we can talk about football, you know, on tonight's live stream for you guys who are watching football and also watching my live stream at the same time. That's one of my favorite things to watch is football. I haven't really done much of it lately this year or even last year, because I've been so focused on the markets. But anyways, good to see that John's in the chat, and good to see that Josh Shareem. I see you, Shareem. You want to take a look at Webull? I'll put that as a request when I'm ready to do the requests. I do want to look at Bitcoin dominance, and I want to look at USDT dominance before we get into some of the altcoin requests here and stocks. But I appreciate that request. I got you as the first one on the board right now. And then Kami's talking about Injective and Say. I don't know if that's a request, but I do have a guy here asking for Ethereum on my TikTok stream. So I'll go ahead and write that down. We'll take a look at Ethereum. We're going to look at Webull first, then Ethereum. And then, alright, yeah, we also got a request here for Turbo. So I do want to look at Ethereum because that is a pretty important cryptocurrency out there with a lot of trading volume. And then we'll take a look at Turbo after that. All right. But yeah, King Kong, we are doing the Bitcoin update right now. Bitcoin not looking so hot right now. I kind of put almost like a clickbait, a clickbait title, uh, and thumbnail in my YouTube video just to get you guys to come check out the video and the live stream. But you know, it's not game over for Bitcoin, but Bitcoin's not doing what it needs to do to get the bulls fired and ready to go here. We got to actually start making some higher highs here, and I want to see Bitcoin get up to 117,400 or 500, that red number right there, because that will be where you'll start seeing more people buying Bitcoin once they see that number show up on the chart here. Okay, being below that number is just not gonna cut it. Okay, we need Bitcoin to get up to 117,500 and actually stay there and show that we're gonna go to higher prices here for Bitcoin. All right, let's get into Bitcoin dominance, because Bitcoin dominance is going to show us what the altcoin season is how that's looking for us here. All right, so we got Bitcoin dominance currently at 58.15%, and Bitcoin dominance has been, you know, trending downward ever since June, actually in the middle of July, when we got that stablecoin bill. And I have noticed that we had created a bear flag here, and we broke down, and we were kind of creating almost like another bear flag here. The measured move out of this bear flag here was us going down to like 56%, which we almost kind of did. We got down to 57% here on Saturday. You know, when Solana was at 250 and some of these altcoins were making some crazy gains over the weekend on Saturday night. But now look at this here for Bitcoin dominance. We are actually starting to get some green candles here. And the thing I actually wanted to show on Bitcoin dominance, which is worrying me, is I do see potential bullish divergence. Okay, this is what's worrying me about Bitcoin dominance, is that we're actually making higher lows here on the RSI for Bitcoin dominance after making lower lows here on price. That's bullish divergence. For those that don't know, it means that we're kind of bottoming out here on Bitcoin dominance, and it means that Bitcoin dominance is probably going to go up rather than go down, or at least maybe it might just go sideways for now. I think sideways would be great for a lot of altcoin investors out there, because if we go sideways on Bitcoin dominance, then that just means that you know, altcoins can start getting some bids here and start getting some money pouring into it. But if Bitcoin dominance starts going up, that could be bad for altcoins, because it could mean one of a few things. It could mean that Bitcoin is dropping down in price and the altcoins are dropping down even worse than Bitcoin, and that would cause Bitcoin dominance to go up. Bitcoin dominance could go up because maybe people decide to just put money in Bitcoin and they neglect the altcoins. Okay, and then the altcoins just stay where they're at, and Bitcoin dominance continues going up because more money's going back into Bitcoin again. Or this would be the ideal situation. Bitcoin dominance might actually start going up because Bitcoin's going up and the altcoins are trying to keep up with Bitcoin. All right, so we have that to worry about here with Bitcoin dominance, is that we got bullish divergence showing up. It probably means that the altcoins need to chill out for a little bit until we get some more direction out of Bitcoin. If Bitcoin's going to start going up to new all-time highs, then yeah, the altcoins will follow suit, and then we'll see new all-time highs, hopefully with some of these altcoins like Ethereum and Solana. Okay. However, if Bitcoin dominance is going up because the markets are worried about interest rate cuts and the economy, then, you know, Bitcoin could be dropping. Bitcoin dominance goes up because altcoins are also dropping even worse than Bitcoin. So that's something that we got to pay attention to. Now, the other thing I want to show you guys here is USDT dominance, which was also kind of giving me some worrying signs here, ever so slightly, but still, some things to worry about with USD dominance. USDT dominance, which is Tether, which is how much digital dollars are out there in cryptocurrency world. It's a stable coin. I don't need to. I'm not gonna really get into what Tether is or the definition of Tether, but just know like it's almost like US dollars for those who are new to crypto. It's like it's a stable coin because it doesn't go up or down, and it's basically a way to get into dollars without actually buying dollars. You are technically buying dollars when you buy Tether. Okay, so it's not supposed to go up or down. However, as far as USDT dominance, if USDT dominance starts going up, that means people are getting worried about the markets in crypto. They're selling their cryptocurrencies. They're getting to go into Tether, and if Tether dominance starts going up, that's not good for the prices of cryptos to go up. Okay, we want Tether dominance to go down, so that way our cryptocurrencies, our altcoins, can go up in price. And right now, with Tether dominance, okay, you are creating higher lows on the daily time frame here, okay, which means that Tether dominance is going up, not down. We want to go down. We want to go down to this 3.74 number that I highlighted over here, because with Tether dominance going down, that means less people are in Tether and more people are in crypto or altcoins, and that causes the prices to go up. Okay, with Tether dominance going up, we are seeing people selling their Solana, their Ethereums, and their Cardanos to go back into Tether. Okay, and we don't want to see that. Okay, so Tether dominance has created a higher low compared to what it did here on August 14th, a little higher low here on Friday, August 22nd, and then this could possibly be another higher low here on Saturday, the 13th, where we came down to 4.2% on Tether dominance, and now we're creeping up. Okay, and the other thing that I'm worried about here with Tether dominance is we're also making ever so slightly higher highs. Okay, here on August 2nd, we had a high of 4.6% on Tether dominance. Then here on September 1st, we had a ever so slightly high of 4.61%. Only about 0.01% higher, but still, technically it qualifies as a higher high on Tether dominance. So you're making higher high, okay, on Tether dominance, and you're making higher lows on Tether dominance. If this continues doing this, then that probably means altcoin season is not going to happen, guys. As Tether dominance starts increasing, I hate to be the bearer of bad news with that. Okay. And then also you could qualify this, just throwing it out there that this could possibly be an inverted head and shoulder pattern. Let me just try to draw this out here. You got the left head here, the left shoulder, the head, okay, and then you got possibly a right shoulder here, okay. And with an inverted head and shoulder pattern, that just means that the asset, in this case Tether dominance, is going to probably go up rather than down. So is Tether dominance going to go back up to maybe the 200 moving average at 4.79% here? I don't know. This is not what we want to see if we're going to be going into altcoin season and making money in altcoin and crypto. You got an inverted head and shoulder pattern. You got higher highs on the daily time frame and higher lows on the daily time frame for Tether dominance. What the hell? we want Tether dominance to go down. Okay, we want Tether dominance to possibly go down to like 3.74% here, like we saw it back here in January of 2025 and December of 2024 when we had what we thought was an altcoin season back then, right? Okay, that was a good number to see. Tether dominance in the 3s rather than the 4s or the 5s. Okay, I'm just zooming out here, showing you guys some more, more data here. But yeah, I think 3.74% is a level to look out for if we are going to be bullish on crypto and bearish on Tether. Okay. However, right now Tether is starting to create a bull case here for it to go up rather than down, and that's not what we want to see. So anyways, that's what I want to show you guys here about Tether dominance, Bitcoin dominance, and Bitcoin itself, is that right now we're seeing some worrying signs out there right before this Federal Reserve meeting that we're about to have on Wednesday. Anyways, let me get back in the chat here. I see someone here keep requesting Arrow. We'll take a look at Arrow. I appreciate that request there, buddy. And let me just try to catch up on the chat here. On my TikTok guys, you guys have said a lot. Let's see. Yep, we're gonna look at Ethereum. I'm gonna look at Webull first, and then Ethereum, okay? Because I got that request that came in from Josh Shireen. And Mario wants to look at TARS AI, okay? We'll take a look at TARS AI. Davison saying strongest coin this cycle is Arrow. Arrow is looking pretty good. I'm not sure if it qualifies as the strongest coin, but it's one of the strongest coins. In my opinion, Binance Exchange has been the strongest coin in this cycle. It's at new all-time highs right now, and it's been making new all-time highs. Doing better than Ethereum and Solana, which also made new all-time highs this cycle. All right, let's see what else do we got here. Davidson says my theories are invalid as long as price stays below the EMAs. You would be right about that. Yep. And you're still saying that Arrow's the strongest strongest coin out there. Sounds like you're a big fan of Arrow. We'll take a look at Arrow. Don't you worry. Let's get into looking at Webull. Okay, we're gonna take a look at the Webull for my buddy Josh Shireen. If you're still there, just let me know if you're still there. All right, Webull is a stock on the Nasdaq index. Currently trading at $13.12 here. And I'm trying to zoom in on Webull. Alright, so I have drew out a Fibonacci from where Webull was trading at back here in the middle of July to the impulse move that it made going into the end of July, where it topped out at $18.34, and we saw Webull come down, make a deep retracement down to this 0.236 level at $13.61. This $13.61 level is probably going to act as resistance going forward until we can finally flip it into support, okay, for Webull. Let me go ahead and turn on the oscillators here, see what the RSI looks like for Webull. RSI is at 43, so it's in like neutral territory. Kind of almost like in the bearish control territory. But what I do like that I'm seeing here for Webull is you are making higher lows here on the daily time frame. This could be the start of something here, the start of something beautiful where you can actually go to higher prices. I'm also seeing that selling pressure is dying down on the MACD, so that's good to see. Let's go ahead and look at stochastics here. Stochastics is in neutral territory at 38.9. Not low stochastics, but not high. They're kind of like relatively low on the stochastics. And then let's see. Let's look at the market cipher B real quick. A little cheat sheet. You got a green buy dot that came in on Webull saying that Wednesday, September 10th was a good day to start buying some Webull. Okay. Usually when you get a green buy dot, you should see a few more good days of price action going to the upside before you might get a red sell dot, and then you're just looking for the red sell dot to let you know that the price might be done going up for Webull in the near term. But you're still good. You still got the green light on market cipher B for Webull on the daily time frame. But yeah, as far as Webull is concerned, let's see if this is the start of us making higher lows here, where you got as low as $12.56 on September 5th. I want to see you continue an uptrend and try to get back up to at least the 0.382 retracement. Right now, and yeah, that 0.382 retracement is at $14.51. But right now, you have the 0.236 retracement at $13.61 acting as resistance, and then also you got the 50-day moving average, this green line sitting at $13.67. 1360, 1367 in that zone, okay? That's gonna be a tough area for you to get above, okay, on this stock. Okay, once you get above it, that will signify that you can start to be ever so slightly more bullish on this asset. And then we'll see if we can actually go up to higher prices where we can get up to like, 0.382 at 1451. But you would think eventually we would see the golden pocket level one more time here, and that's at like 16 bucks. That's your 618 golden pocket level here. That's an area for us to be looking out for on Webull. I think that's also going to be a zone of resistance going forward if we actually do get up to those higher prices. So that's your long-term target for Webull, $16 right now. Near-term target, $13.60 is going to act as resistance in the short term here. Okay, and then your near-term support, yeah, you don't really have that much support besides this low here at 12.56 on September 5th. Alright, moving on from Webull, let's go ahead and take a look at Ethereum, which is one of the higher market cap cryptocurrencies out there. It's in second place, Bitcoin's in first as far as market cap goes. But Ethereum is currently trading at 45.09. Let me just zoom in here a little bit. I'm going to get rid of this Fibonacci for now. I start to clean up the chart a little bit more. On the daily time frame, Ethereum, right? We topped out at $4,744 on Friday, and then we got to $4,768 on Saturday temporarily before we started creating some red candles here. Looks like Ethereum could come down to the 21 EMA, this white line here, at 44.26 before we start getting some support. We actually came very close to that today. We came down to 44.64, which is about $40 above this 21 EMA. But I think, yeah, going forward, we need to see Ethereum. I'm trying to get rid of this thing right here. We need to see Ethereum try to stay above this 21 EMA. If we lose it, not too terrible to lose the 21 EMA. But we have lost the 21 EMA in the past, where we did come down to as low as $4,200 on Ethereum. And yeah, if we lose that 21 EMA, which is currently sitting at 4,400, yeah, we could see 4,200 or 4,300 all over again for Ethereum. Okay. But let's take a look at the oscillators here real quick. Ethereum's RSI is comfortably sitting at 54. That's very neutral. As neutral as it possibly get on the RSI. And I'm not really seeing anything as far as like higher lows. This could possibly be a higher low in the RSI for Ethereum, but we'll see in the next few days if it ends up being a higher low. I'm not really seeing any bullish or bearish divergence, so nothing really to write home to mom about as far as RSI goes. Let me go ahead and take a look at the MACD real quick here for you. MACD is showing that we were getting some buying pressure over the weekend, but now that buying pressure is dying down. What gives, huh? Like, how come we can't go up to higher prices on Ethereum? I don't know. But yeah, MACD, we got the MACD flip last week, and that was like the green light to become more bullish on Ethereum. But then you had lackluster performance over the weekend, compared to like what you did here back in the middle of August, when we had more buying pressure on Ethereum. So that just not going to cut the mustard as far as being bullish here on Ethereum. Stochastic RSI is slightly high on the daily time frame, so maybe Ethereum does need to come down, retest $4,200, $4,300 all over again, give us a chance to reset the stochastic RSI. And then maybe we can get the green light to go up to higher prices for Ethereum. Okay. And if we do go to higher prices on Ethereum, how high could we possibly go? Well, I do have a Fibonacci here. Obviously, we want to see Ethereum get back up to $4,900 like it did here in August, right? Yeah, we saw Ethereum at $4,955. But I do have a 1618 saying that Ethereum could get up to $5,800 as my. I think that's a target that we could see. If the Federal Reserve cuts interest rates this Wednesday, and they give us the green light that they're going to cut interest rates going into like October and December, then yeah, I could see Ethereum getting up to $5,800. no problem here. And that's what the Fibonacci is saying could possibly happen here for Ethereum. Let's see. We have a user here. Ujala is asking, how far could Ethereum fall down? Well, I think Ethereum could possibly in the near term get down to $4,200 or $4,300 all over again. Okay. Seems like when Ethereum does go below into this buy zone here, it doesn't stay there for too long. Like I had a Ethereum for a buy zone, you know, in between like 3,900 and 4,200, and we only dipped below that on like Tuesday, August 19th, and then the next day we got bought right back up, and we never came back down to $4,200 again on Ethereum. Okay. It kind of came close to it on September 1st, but not really. Okay, so I think $4,200 is a good support zone for Ethereum, but could it drop further? I mean, anything's possible. And if Ethereum does drop further below $4,200, then we do have a 50-day moving average providing support at 3,557, and that 50-day moving average is confluent with the 786 retracement. That 3553, that blue number right there. Okay, so we could see some support for Ethereum, but that's still like 1,000-point drop from where we are right now. I'm not sure how likely that is, but that would be the support zone for Ethereum if we're not able to maintain 4,200. All right, let me get a swig of water here. We'll move on from Ethereum. We're gonna take a look at Turbo, and then Aerodrome, and Tars AI. And I see we have a request for VeChain, so let me go ahead and write that down. Gotcha. Scobie says Ethereum is going to $4,000. Are you from the future? Do you know? I can't really say anything is certain here. We're just taking it day by day and looking at the charts. But you know, last time we thought Ethereum was going to go to $4,000, it got bought up real quick here. So I don't know if it's going to actually go down to $4,000 with that buying pressure that we have at like $4,200, and yeah, right around here. Okay. Mina says, "Knew I should have took profit on Friday." Yeah, it's crazy. You know, that's how the markets are. And anytime the markets start going down, people are like, damn it, I should have took profit. I was actually waiting for the stock market to open up because I actually have the Solana ETF. And I was going to try to sell some today. But then Solana started going down in price, and the ETF also went down. And I was like, all right, well, I'll just wait. I'll just wait for higher prices like I was planning on doing. Alright. Turbo. We're looking at Turbo now. Currently trading at 0.0039 pennies, down 7% today. And I'm looking at the daily time frame here again, the bigger picture on Turbo. Obviously, we've been making lower highs ever since the middle of July here on Turbo. Turbo got that nice impulse move in the middle of July, and we've been selling off. So we're making lower highs here on Turbo. Okay. However, this was a downtrend that you were in on Turbo, and you kind of broke out of it. And I get why you started like getting a little bit bullish here on Turbo, because you broke out of that downtrend, this yellow line here. However, looks like you're coming down to revisit that downtrend again, okay? And you might get some support here off the 200-day moving average, and we might get a reverse here on Turbo, okay? There might be a reverse. Maybe we have to actually touch the 200-day moving average. Maybe we have to go below the 200-day moving average to test this downtrend line here. So maybe Turbo has to go down just a little bit more, maybe a couple hundred more points lower, before we get a bounce off to higher prices here for Turbo, okay? But you would think like the 200-day moving average would be like in your area where we should get some support. We'll see. You know, it's very, very crucial to see what happens between later on today going into tomorrow for Turbo. But yeah, you got rejected off the 100-day moving average, that blue line right there. and now you're coming right back to the 200. This could be a good buy zone. I would consider maybe buying some turbo right now at 39. Maybe get luckier and try to get it below the 200-day moving average at like 38 or 3,700. And I just put the stop loss right below the lows here on September 1st at 3,500 if you're spot trading. Now, if you're if you're a day trader and you're leverage trading, you're probably going to put the stop loss maybe below the 200 moving average and hope that we don't go below the 200-day moving average. But if you're just doing spot, you don't have to worry about leverage, but you still have to worry about, losing some money here. If you were to come down to this area where we got as low as like 35.43, you're risking about roughly 10%. So you're risking 10% on your spot position here. Well, how high could turbo possibly go? Well, you just get back up to the most recent high here. That's a 19, almost 20% gain. Just getting back to where we were this Saturday, okay? And then, if we can get up to the highs here that we did back in the middle of August, then you're looking at like a 35% gain, okay, for turbo. So I think the risk reward is pretty good for turbo for you to throw your hat in the ring and try to buy now, and then put your stop loss right below the lows for September at 35.43. Not bad, not bad. And if I was to do a risk reward situation, let's just measure that out here real quick. Okay, we just try to get this back up to the middle of August, and we put the stop loss right over here at the beginning of September. So like I said, we're risking about 9 to 10% on our position to try and get 34 or 35%, and your risk reward ratio is 3.5. Anything above 3, we're looking for like a risk reward ratio of 3. Okay, anything above 3 is looking very good, very fantastic. That is worth taking a trade if you can get a risk reward ratio of 3. Okay, and this one's saying that's a risk reward ratio of 3.5. Okay, so I think that might be worth it to get into turbo. Okay, for a long. Downside is very minimal. Okay, downside is maybe 10%. Okay, stop loss right over here at 3,500. Okay. All right. We'll move on to take a look at Aerodrome, and then we'll take a look at TARS AI, and then VeChain. Aerodrome Finance. I actually was trying to trade Aerodrome Finance this weekend for a long position. It actually worked out pretty well. And wow, okay, Aerodrome is at $1.30, up 8.9% today. Okay, Aerodrome. Okay, Aerodrome. So Aerodrome is hitting some of the Fibonacci numbers here that I've already looked at for Aerodrome in past live streams. The 618 is sitting at like $1.26, and the 65 is sitting at $1.29. Aerodrome came up to that, and we actually, looks here on Coinbase Exchange, we came up to like $1.37. So I guess Aerodrome is the hot ticket crypto for today. I could kind of see why you got very excited for today for Aerodrome. Okay, so totally understandable. If Aerodrome continues being bullish like it is right now, it could get some resistance at $1.41, which is your 0.76 retracement level here. It's also a level that we were topping out here in the middle of August with some of these candle wick highs and some of these body candle closes here at $1.41. So just keep in mind that $1.41 could be a resistance zone for Aerodrome. And then of course we would like to see if Aerodrome can get up to $1.60 like it did here on August 22nd. That would be a level for Aerodrome Finance. I would say short-term take profit target. Okay, anywhere between $1.41 and $1.60. And then moving forward, longer term targets, we do have a Aerodrome target price of $1.84, which is your 1272 fib extension. And then you got the 1618 at $2.15. So far so good for Aerodrome. And you are making higher lows and higher highs here ever since the beginning of September. So that's good to see as well. Okay. I would start to get worried if Aerodrome loses the uptrend that it's creating on the higher lows here on the candle wicks. If you lose, I would say $1.16. I would be very cautious about Aerodrome. Okay, if it loses $1.16, you're losing your case for going to higher prices here on Aerodrome. Okay, so stay above $1.16, and I think you'll be all right for Aerodrome. Let's see. We're looking at Harvard Headlands wants me to take a look at the Polkadot. Alright, we'll take a look at Polkadot after we look at the VeChain. And I'm not sure how to say your name, but somebody here thinks Bitcoin's going to go to $90,000. Bitcoin has to go through a lot of support before it goes down to $90,000. There's way too much support for Bitcoin that would prevent it from going to $90,000. You first have to cut through the moving averages. You first have to go through the 50-day, which is at 112K on Bitcoin, and you have to go through 108K, which is your 100-day moving average, and then you have to, the last line of support for the moving averages is at 102K for Bitcoin. So you have to lose all these levels here first before Bitcoin even starts going down to 90K. Okay, and then you also have to lose all this support here. All these people that bought Bitcoin in May, in June, in July at 105K, like, they're not going to click the sell button until Bitcoin goes below 105K. So you got all this support at 105K. That's going to prevent Bitcoin from going down to 90K. All right, moving on to TARS AI. We'll take a look at on CoinX. We'll get TARS AI currently trading at 6.5 cents roughly, down 7% today. And what is TARS AI doing here? What are you doing? Okay, so it's starting to get some moving averages, providing some data here. It looks like the 200-day and the 50-day are acting like bullies right now, preventing TARS AI from getting above roughly 7.5 cents here. Okay, last Friday we got up to 8 cents. That was a start, but we weren't able to close at 8 cents. We only closed at like 7.5 cents. And then, yeah, we've been using it as resistance here. This 50-day, this green line, and this red line, 200-day. That is acting as resistance as of now for TARS AI. For support, you got the 21 EMA could provide support here, that white line at 6 cents. So maybe TARS AI has to come down a little bit further, bounce off the 6 cent level. This could be an area where you can buy some cheaper TARS AI, and then maybe try to get the bounce to 8 cents again, and then you would sell it there. So TARS AI might be range bound for now. Okay. Yeah, let me just draw this line here real quick. I would say, you're lucky enough to buy TARS AI at 5.5 cents. Okay, if it does come down and revisit that level, I would try to buy between 5.5 and 6 cents, and then I would plan on selling anywhere between 7.5 to 8 cents. So, this is going to be, at least this is what it's looking like. It's looking like you're going to be range bound on TARS AI. Buy 5.5, sell 7.5. Buy 5.5, sell 7.5. Because you're kind of creating a range right here. Even if I turn on the VRVP, it's probably going to show the same thing. Yep. So, the value area for TARS AI, you get the value area low at like 5 cents. And then you got POC, point of control, this blue line, at 8 cents. There's a lot of selling pressure at 8 cents for TARS AI. So I would plan on selling TARS AI at 8 cents if you can, if you're able to do so. And then if TARS AI is able to get to 8 cents and actually stay above it, then we can start talking about higher prices for TARS AI, where the volume starts to drop off on the VRVP, and you might get a little bit of resistance at 10 cents, which is like a psychological number for a lot of people there. It's a level that TARS AI used as support back in June. Okay, so yeah, TARS AI, 10 cents I would say is your long-term target for now. Okay, and then 8 cents is going to be tough to get above as well. Alright, let me get rid of the VRBP for now. Let's move on from TARS AI to VeChain. Alright, we're looking at VeChain currently trading at 0.02423 pennies here. Look at the daily time frame for VeChain. VeChain obviously making lower highs here. Okay. You got yourself a downtrend on the lower highs here, but you have higher lows for an uptrend. So you're creating yourself a triangle here, which is basically consolidation, right? That's all it is consolidation. And if VeChain continues doing what it's doing and stays in this triangle, then yeah, you might be able to get some cheaper VeChain at like 0.023 pennies. And then just be ready to sell it again at 2.5 pennies. Because if this thing, you know, makes this higher low here, it could also then make a lower high here, and we could be once again stuck in this range for VeChain. Okay, just doing sideways consolidation here. Alright. But I think going forward here, you know, higher lows for VeChain is good. It's good to see. You know, as long as you keep doing that, you're preventing the bears from taking us down to lower prices. And then I also want to see us stay above the 200-day moving average, this red line. All you have to do is get up to like 2.5 pennies, and you're good. You're back to being bullish on VeChain again. But losing that 200-day moving average like you just did today, not good. Okay, you're giving the bears a chance to create the case that this thing has to go to lower prices here. Okay, I would say I would be worried about VeChain if you lose this uptrend. Right, make another higher low, frustrate the crap out of the bears, send this thing up to higher prices, and you'll be good. But if you lose this uptrend, right, at about 0.235 pennies here, and you start making a lower low than what you did here on September 4th, then you have to now worry, alright, we're probably going to go down to lower prices, right? Because you're now making a lower low compared to what you did September 4th here and also August 20th. That would not be good, and you might not want to be in this asset, because if you're making lower highs and also making lower lows and losing this uptrend, then it probably means you got to go to lower prices here. And do you want to stick around for that? Probably not. So I would probably put my stop loss at like 0.022 pennies. Looks like 0.028 pennies to be exact. Basically the low on September 4th. Don't go lower than the low on September 4th at like 0.02295 pennies here. And I think you'll be alright. So you can just put your stop loss somewhere in this area. Alright. Okay. Let me just check my messages here, guys. Oh, okay, yeah, I don't need that. Alright. Going back to TikTok. Sorry about that, TikTok. I just had to check something real quick here. Gabe Gonzalez says there hasn't been a crash since 2021. This headline is misleading. What headline are you talking about? I'm a little curious what headline you're talking about. And this guy here, I'm not even sure how to pronounce your name. It's just weird, but you're saying that Bitcoin can go $90,000 and then it will pump. Okay. Maybe. Or maybe it goes down to where it is right now and then pumps. You just don't know. Okay. But I think there's a lot of support for Bitcoin, before we go down to $90,000. So it'd be very interesting if it breaks through all that support, only for it to then start pumping back up again. All right, we'll move on from VeChain. We're gonna take a look at. Actually, did I give you upside targets for VeChain? I didn't really give upside targets. You just got to get past these lower highs here, right? The high here at 0.027 pennies. And then also back here on July 21st, 0.029 pennies. Because these are lower highs, that's going to be a resistance zone for traders to be looking for as we go up to higher prices with VeChain. If we do go up to higher prices, this is going to be areas to be looking out for. Okay. All right. Moving on from VeChain, we'll take a look at Polkadot. We got Polkadot currently trading at $4.12, down 4.4% today, and nasty red candle. Yeah, after another nasty red candle on Sunday as well. But it is respecting the TA. We came up to the golden pocket level for Polkadot. We were looking for $4.48 and $4.56. This is your golden pocket level here, your 618 and 65 retracement. And you actually came up to 462. Okay, then you actually closed out right near the 618 retracement at like $4.49. And then, yeah, I mean, cannot get more beautiful than that as far as respecting the TA. Okay, I mean, sure, yeah, you came up past the golden pocket, but you came right back down and you settled right at that 618. And you closed the day there, you opened it up, and then you got sent down to low prices now. And where could Polkadot go? If we continue going lower, right, we do have a 200-day moving average that can provide support at $4.05. That might be where the moving average traders, the ones that use moving averages, they're probably eyeballing that level before they put their buy orders in on Polkadot. And we also got the 100-day sitting at $4.02. You do have some support here at the $4 level for Polkadot. I wouldn't get too worried. This is where I would be trying to put in some buy orders in. But I do like the fact that you are above the 200-day moving average and you're trying to get above it. So you're making progress here on Polkadot. Believe it or not, you are making progress. And if Polkadot continues going to higher prices in the long term, we do have the 786 retracement, could act as resistance at 48. And then we got the $5.39 level could probably act as resistance. And that was an area that you got up to back here in May. So we'll see how Polkadot handles itself over here. But I would think anybody that bought here in May, they're currently underwater, and they might want to just get out of Polkadot as soon as they're able to break even at $5.39. And they'll probably click the sell button on you. So you can either join them and try to take profit at $5.39 or not join them. But just know that there are people who are anxious to sell at $5.39 because they bought back here in May and they've been underwater ever since. Okay. All right. A little bit quiet here on YouTube, but I do see there's a good amount of people here. No requests? No one has coin requests on YouTube? Okay. I mean, I am doing my TikTok. You can see here I got the phone here. My TikTok guys are keeping me busy with the requests. And let's see what they got to say here. So as far as like crash goes, I mean, you guys kind of missed the beginning of my live stream. I know some of you guys are worried about Bitcoin and crypto crashing, but what has me worried here with Bitcoin, and we'll go back to Bitcoin now, is that we are making lower highs here still on the daily time frame. Okay, you know, we topped out at 124K here for Bitcoin in the middle of August. Then we created another lower high here on Bitcoin at $117,400 on August 22nd. And recently, you know, on Friday, we weren't able to get up to 117,400. We only went up to 160,833. And then today, earlier this morning, probably while you guys were sleeping, we only went up to 116,802, and we're still making lower highs here on Bitcoin. And making lower highs consistently like this gives more credence to the bears. It builds up the bearish case that Bitcoin is going down to low prices and it's not capable of going to higher prices. Because why can't we get up to 117,400? I highlighted this level. 117,479 is a level for us to look out for, because this has acted as support in the past, back here in July, where we had a bunch of candle body closes and candlewick lows at that level, acting as support before we lost it, came back, acted as resistance here in the beginning of August before we pushed past it and made a new all-time high, which is great to see. But then we lost that immediately, came right down to the $117,400 level, try to use it as support for like a couple of days here in August, and then we lost it, and then we got rejected off of that $117,400 level. So that's why this number is highlighted in red on my chart. You know, this line, we have to get above that for me to be bullish on Bitcoin. And we try to do that. We try to come close to doing that here on Friday and the weekend, but just not good enough. Okay. Maybe we get that interest rate cut and we get some guidance from the Fed that they're going to be continuing to cut interest rates, and that will, you know, launch us to higher prices here for Bitcoin. But right now, this is lower highs, and if we go to lower prices and we make a lower low, then you're in a downtrend on Bitcoin, and you will get a crash, and you will see Bitcoin probably come down to the 200-day moving average, sitting at $102,600. And if you lose that, then by golly, you know, like, you're gonna go to lower prices if you lose 102K. You know, then we have to start thinking about, you know, can Bitcoin get some support from the people that bought here in April at like 95, 94K. Might be our last line of defense here. Okay. But that's the, you know, a bearish case. And yeah, we're gonna have to work through that. We're gonna have to break through a lot of support to get down to 95K here, but it's still a possibility, especially if we're not able to go to higher prices. If you can't go to higher prices, then, you know, if you can't go to higher prices, then anybody that bought here in August, right, they're gonna get discouraged and they're gonna start selling. Anybody that bought here towards the end of August, they're gonna get discouraged and they're gonna start selling. And then, yeah, and then the people that bought here at 108K, if they look at the price of Bitcoin and it's back at 108K, they're not making money, and they're going to probably take their money and put it somewhere else, and then that causes more selling pressure. So yeah, there is potential for a crash here on Bitcoin. Yeah, I'm not totally against that. Okay. But I'm still going to be bullish on Bitcoin as long as we're above the 200-day moving average, and as long as we're above the 50-day moving average, I can still be bullish. That 50-day moving average is 112.6K. So we're still fine. It's just that you gotta be open to the possibility that this thing could come down on you. Zach says Bitcoin dominance is still falling. If you look at the dailies, if Bitcoin dominance can go low enough, then won't Bitcoin drop while altcoins go up. Bitcoin dominance can go down, right? And the price of Bitcoin can still go up, but that just means that the altcoins are going up higher and faster than Bitcoin. So there's still potential for Bitcoin dominance to go down while the Bitcoin price is going up. Yeah. Chiami wants me to look at Solana and Ethereum, and then Gata wants to look at Chainlink. Okay, gotcha. We'll take a look at Chainlink. We'll take a look at Chainlink because you put that in first, and then we'll look at Solana. We haven't looked at Solana yet. We actually did look at Ethereum earlier, Chiami. But I'll try to do a quick review for you on that. But yeah, let me write this down. Chainlink, and then Solana. and then we'll do a quick summary of Ethereum for you. All right. Chainlink. See if I can find it here in my I think it's in my watch list. It should be on my watch list. Did I bury you there, Chainlink? Where did I put Chainlink? Oh, there it is. Okay. All right, Chainlink currently trading at $23.18, down 4.2%. What do we got here for Chainlink? What do we got? Chainlink topped out, obviously, here on Friday, August 22nd at $27.86. So I think I have to redraw this fib to reflect that. I got the swing low here coming down from $10. So we went from $10 to like, yeah, 27.85. So let me just redraw that real quick here. 27.85, somewhere in that area. Okay. All right. Okay. So now the Fibonacci should reflect a little bit better here what's actually going on. We got a 76 retracement at $24.11. Okay. This is an area that, you know, if Chainlink's going to remain bullish, then it shouldn't go any lower than this, but it has gone lower than that. It actually did go to like the golden pocket level here. We came down to like $22.03. Actually, no, $21.87. So we got a bounce off the golden pocket here. Came up to the 786 retracement. Went past that 786 retracement. But now it's, you know, we're making lower highs here. Okay. I want to see us start making higher lows to like invalidate the bearish case here, because if we start making lower lows here on Chainlink, then this is just lower highs and lower lows, and you got yourself possibly like, I mean, potentially a bull flag could form still out of this, but you know, you'll have a downtrend where you're making lower highs and lower lows, and you don't want that for Chainlink. So I don't want to see that for Chainlink. You know, I want to see you guys make some money here. Stop going down, make a higher low, and let's launch ourselves back up to $27 all over again here for Chainlink, okay? But if Chainlink wants to be weak and give us that weak sauce, then yeah, maybe we have to revisit the 618 retracement at like $21.16 all over again. I would expect some traders to start putting in their bids here. The Fibonacci traders are paying attention to that. But if you're just using moving averages and you're not doing Fibonacci, then you're probably not even looking at these numbers here. And the moving average traders are looking at the Chainlink, and they're looking at the 50-day moving average is sitting at like $18.52. And they probably won't put their buy orders in unless we get down to that level there. Let me see what that looks like on the 4-hour time frame. There might be some support in the 4-hour. 4-hour time frame for Chainlink, you are losing your moving averages here. You lost the 50 moving average on the 4-hour time frame at $23.40. So not good, no bueno. I still think Chainlink wants to come down to $21 though. I mean, you got the support here, back here in early September, and also right over here you were at like $21 back in the middle of August. So I still think $21 is where you come down to for Chainlink. And then we'll just have to see if are we able to push past 27 bucks. Because if you're able to push past 27 bucks, then we do have some targets to the upside, where we can see Chainlink get up to the 1272 fib extension at 32 bucks, 32.64. All right. And I do have some targets at $30 and $35. I think I have to zoom out here to like the weekly time frame, because you'll see for Chainlink, you know, back here in 2021. We do have some candle body closes at $30, and then we have some candle wick action here at $35. So those could be upside targets as well for Chainlink. I think if I go into the daily time frame, you'll see it better. Yeah, over here at like $30, you'll see like we had some Like back here, we had some resistance, resistance here. Okay. Some more resistance here, and then we popped up, and then got resistance at 35 bucks. So I think anywhere between 30 and 35 bucks is a good area to sell Chainlink. If you do see those prices later on in 2025. All right, moving on from Chainlink, we'll take a look at the Solana. You guys remember Selena the singer in the movie Selena? They say everybody loves Selena. I like to say that everybody loves Solana. Solana can't sing like Selena, but I think Solana could do the next best thing, which is go up to higher prices for us. Alright, Solana currently trading at $230.68, down 3.8% today, but it's coming down after having a pretty good weekend, you know, going out there partying and trying to make higher highs here. Solana is having to come down back to rally on Monday here, but we did see Solana go up to like $250 on Sunday. I think that was like more like Saturday morning, maybe like Saturday night. Had a really good night partying, and now it's coming down to lower prices here. If Solana does go to lower prices, it could get some support at that 618 and 65 golden pocket retracement at $225 and 220 bucks. I think this will now act as support. This is a level that we've been paying attention to, that we were trying to break out of and break past. I've been eyeballing this level for a while now. Okay, and now it looks like this level is going to act as possible support rather than resistance. I would like it to act as support rather than resistance, so we can launch off of 220, 225, and then try to make a run for this 786 retracement at $253, that blue level there. Okay, $253 is your upside target for Solana. And yeah, I mean, you know, $250 was an area I was eyeballing, and we came right up there and got rejected off of it. But if Solana kept pushing up to 253 or higher, I was anxious to click the sell button on Solana myself, because I know this is an area that's going to be tough for us to get past, you know, because people that bought here in January for Solana, they bought at $250, and they have a chance to break even after being down for like 8 months straight. Okay, they have not seen $250 Solana since January. Okay, and they've been underwater, and some of them even saw them lose half of their investment. Okay, if they didn't click the sell button, they might be more anxious to click the sell button when we get to 250. Same thing for the people that bought here in November of 2024. Guys, I have an important phone call coming in. I gotta take this phone call real quick. Let me see what's going on. Hello.
Hello. David.
Yes.
What's up? It's Alex, man. How you doing?
Good. I'm actually doing a YouTube live stream. Let me go ahead and put the mute button on here real quick. Just give me a second.
Okay. I can call you back. It's up to you.
I mean, how? All right, back to the live stream here. Hopefully I didn't lose you guys there. All right, so we're looking at Solana still at $230.76. Let me just do a quick sound check, make sure you guys still hear me. I want to make sure I turn that mic button on. All right, yep, I'm still here. All right, awesome. Oh, thank you, Zach, for subscribing to the channel. Thank you so much. Guys, if you want to come join the Meet Damien community here, you know, I am on TikTok. If it shows up here. Where's my TikTok? Alright, maybe it's not gonna show up. But I'm also on YouTube as well. Okay. And check me out. Hit that subscribe button. Come join the Meet Damien community here on YouTube. And also try to join me on TikTok if you can, if I can get this thing to load up here. Let's see. There we go. Oh, there's something. Alright. Okay, try again, please. Yep. Alright. There's the Meet Damien TikTok channel. Looks like I got a few more followers here in the last 30 minutes. Thank you guys for following me here on TikTok. We'll just try to build up this community and give you guys some good TA here. I'm going to try to do some more YouTube shorts and TikToks out there. I know I kind of been slacking a little bit. I have been showing my day trades and how well I've been doing on my day trades here. Okay, but I'm going to start doing some more coin specific videos where you know, I talk about where I think some of these popular coins could go in the future here. Okay. But anyways, let's get back to talking about Solana here. So yeah, I think Solana upside targets 250 again, one more time. Downside target 220. And then future upside target, we'll see if we can get up to the all-time high at 295 all over again. And we do have a fib extension that says that 350 and 420 is possible upside targets for Solana as well. So be on the lookout for that. If we're getting an altcoin season, you'll probably see Solana at 420 bucks. Why not 420, please? I see we got a request for Shiba Inu, and I remember we still have to look at Ethereum for a quick summary analysis. We already looked at it before, but we'll take a look at it again, I guess. But it looks like we have requests here for Shiba Inu. And then let me see if we got a request for Dogecoin as well, and XRP. All right, so XRP. And I saw a Dogecoin, right? Yeah. RP says hello, bro. And you want me to check out Shiba Inu? I got you. Scobie's talking about weekly bearish divergence. I am aware of the weekly bearish divergence on Bitcoin, but the thing is that that's gonna take time to play out here. But yeah, there is weekly bearish divergence on Bitcoin, and that is concerning. I get you on that. But the thing is that the weekly bearish divergence, we can still see Bitcoin go up to higher prices until we finally get the crash that we're looking for. I wouldn't start getting bearish on Bitcoin until we lose the 200-day moving average at 102K. Okay, that's when I would start getting worried about Bitcoin. All right, let's take a look at Ethereum real quick here. So Ethereum currently trading at 4,490. I think last time we looked at it early in the live stream was at 4,500. So we're still going down on Ethereum. Ethereum could catch some bids here at 4,400, 4,425, which is that 21 EMA right here. Could provide support. If you get if you see Ethereum go below that, I would try to scoop up some Ethereum, because Ethereum anywhere between 4,200 and 4,400 seems to be a good buy zone area. There was a previous buy zone area that I looked at with Ethereum where we were trying to buy some Ethereum at like $3,900 to like $4,200, and we only went below $4,200, you know, for like 2 days before we came right back up to about like 4,300 bucks. And then we kind of teased us a little bit here where we came down to 4,209 on September 1st. But we didn't quite get down to 4,200 bucks on Ethereum. So I think, you know, downside targets for Ethereum is 4,200 bucks before we get, you know, see some buyers show up to the plate here. We could go to lower prices on Ethereum. I'm not saying that it's not possible, but if we lose that $4,200 level, then we do have a 50-day moving average sitting at 35.57, and we also have the 786 retracement at 35.53. I think $3,500 Ethereum could possibly be an area where buyers show up again to try and buy some Ethereum at that price. And then also $3,500 is an area that people were buying Ethereum back here in July, so they're not going to click the sell button unless we go below 3,500 bucks. So that's your downside target on Ethereum. And then upside targets, let's try to get back up to $4,800 again. But we do have a fib extension, 1618 fib extension at $5,800. You could see Ethereum at $5,800 at some point, maybe later on in 2025, going into 2026. All right, let's move on to XRP. XRP currently trading at $2.99. Still playing around with that $3 psychological level, which is also that 618 level for the Fibonacci here. $2.99 is a level that we would like to stay above and not actually go below again. But looks like XRP is playing with our hearts, and minds as well, and kind of like messing around with us. That are we able to stay above $3? Can we stay above $3 and not lose it? We lost $3, right? And then when we lose $3, we end up coming down to this 0.5 retracement at $2.78. That is your downside target for XRP. If we're not able to hold $3, don't be surprised if we come down to 278, which is also where that 50-day moving average is sitting at right now, 277, 278. So I think this is your target for buying some cheaper XRP if you're able to do so. Okay. Now to the upside, we would want to see XRP continue going to higher prices if we're bullish, but we could get some resistance at that 786 retracement at $3.28. And if we're able to make it past that 3.28 level here, then you are possibly going to see 366 all over again for XRP, like you did here in July. Okay. And then if we are going to be more bullish on XRP, we got a 1272 at $4.30 and a 1618 at $4.74. I'm expecting some people to start selling their XRP once we get up to like $4. Okay. And I'm not sure if we're going to get to $6. This might have to wait until 2026, or who knows, maybe it's not even going to happen. But you got a 2618 that says $6.50 XRP is a possibility. And if it does, I mean, you should probably consider clicking that sell button, because you're going to double your money if we do get up to like $6 XRP here. But as of now, for now, we got to see if we can try to get back up to 330 and then 360 on XRP. And that's like a 10% and a 20% move up in price. Mike Bassett asking me, do I mainly trade off of Fibonacci? No, I don't mainly trade off of Fibonacci. I use more than just one indicator. I like using the moving averages to help find confluence. That's like what's a strong support or resistance area. The Fibonacci kind of helps with finding that out as well. Also, the Fibonacci kind of helps predict, if we are going to go to all-time highs on XRP here. It kind of gives you a prediction as to like where we might top out at. Okay, so I do like using the Fibonacci, figuring out where the all-time highs might be, and also figuring out where resistance and support might be after we made monster moves like we did here for XRP back in like July. Okay, so yeah, that's what I like using. And then also I use the other oscillators. I use RSI, MACD, stochastic RSI. And I even use Market Cipher B, kind of like give me an idea. It's like, should I be bullish or bearish? Okay, especially on the smaller time frames when I'm trading like day trading on like the 1 hour time frame or the 15-minute time frame. I use these oscillators heavily, more so than Fibonacci. But the Fibonacci kind of gives me some guidance for like target zones. And the other indicators like the MACD kind of tells me like, are we losing buying pressure? Are we getting more selling pressure? Are we losing selling pressure and getting more buying pressure? Those are all things I take into account when I'm trying to figure out whether I'm going to be bullish or bearish and longing or shorting an asset here. And then of course market cipher B just gives me one more confirmation, like, you know, on the 15-minute time frame for XRP, it says that you should think about selling, because right here at 12:45 p.m. you got a red dot saying that probably gonna be some lower price action. And if you pay attention to the 15-minute time frame for XRP, right, and you pay attention to this red sell dot that says you should have been selling, right, I'll go back to the price here if I can. I know it's looking like a bunch of rainbow colors here, but you got that red dot here on market cipher B, and yeah, it's saying that you're losing the 50 moving average on the 15-minute time frame, and you're coming down to lower prices, and you could have avoided all this if you listen to that red sell dot there on the 15-minute time frame. So that's what I do when I'm day trading. I use all these indicators, and I also use like market cipher B to kind of help me figure out, you know, hey, should I be longing or shorting? Should I be bullish or bearish? Or not like I use it first, but I just use it as confirmation, like, oh wait, yeah, the red dot came in, bad times are coming for the next few hours here on XRP. Yes, I do a mix of day trading and swing trading. So I have my trading account, which is where I do day trading, and then I have my regular spot bags is my long-term investments in cryptocurrencies. Yep. So I do both. I do swing trading and day trading. Alright, we gotta move on from XRP to Dogecoin and then Shiba Inu. See if we're on Dogecoin. Alright, Dogecoin, let's get back into the daily time frame here. And if you guys ever want me to go into smaller time frames, like the 1 hour time frame or the 15-minute time frame, you gotta let me know. And I can do the smaller time frames if you guys put a request. But if you guys put in a request, I'm just assuming that you're a long-term trader or a swing trader, and I'll stick to the daily time frame unless you guys ask for a smaller time frame. And if you guys are asking me about longing or shorting, that also helps too, because then I can, you know, kind of figure out, you know, is there a good case for shorting it or longing it. Do I only trade crypto? As of now, yeah. I do have a retirement account for my IRA, and I can't do day trading on that account. So yeah, I do like swing trading in my Roth IRA that I have for stock market, but yeah, they don't, and I'm not allowed to short sell stock on there because they don't do that with IRAs. I could probably, I mean, maybe I'll probably go into futures trading in the stock market, but as of now, I do futures trading with crypto, and it's fun there. I like it. I like day trading crypto, and it's a 24/7 market too. You can day trade on the weekends, at night, late at night, early morning, anytime with crypto. It's awesome. All right, going into Dogecoin, we're trading at 26.5 cents here, down 4.23%. Let's see. I have measured Fibonacci from 14 cents up to the 28 cent level that we got up to on July 21st. I still think this is applicable, even though we kind of actually made some higher highs than what we did here in July. So that's good to see that Dogecoin is doing that. Dogecoin making higher highs. Unlike most of these other cryptocurrencies out there. Very far and few between, but Dogecoin is one of them. That is the proud and the few, making higher highs. Good to see. Alright, so we actually got up to 30, almost 31 cents here on Dogecoin this Saturday. Very nice, very nice. You had a 1272 fib extension that could provide resistance. We didn't quite get up there, but we were looking at that level as a potential resistance level. So it doesn't surprise me that that we're coming down now. All right, after getting past the previous high here on July 21st. And I still think these Fibonacci levels are levels that traders are paying attention to. You get the 786 retracement at 25.257 pennies. Let's see, today we came down to 0.258 pennies. Okay, so there are Fibonacci guys out here that are still using the Fibonacci, and they decided to buy some Dogecoin when it got down to this level here. All right, 0.257 pennies here. They actually front ran it a little bit. They came down to 0.258 pennies before they started buying it up again. All right, so with that being said, Dogecoin looking healthy. You're making higher highs on the daily time frame, and you're also making higher lows here to get up to those higher highs. And you're above all the moving averages here. Let me just hide the Fibonacci for now so it doesn't look so confusing here for you guys. I know it's like a lot of rainbow colors looking here, but we have the 21 EMA below us. Could provide support at 23 pennies. So if Dogecoin does do a violent sell-off here, I would expect 23 pennies to come into play again here. And this is also a level where you got some sideways trading action at this area. So I would expect 23 pennies to be respected. You might even get lucky enough to buy some Dogecoin at the 50-day moving average at 21 pennies. Okay, so I think 21 pennies to 23 pennies should be where you should place your buy orders in if you want to buy some more Dogecoin cheaper than where it is right now. Okay, and yeah, I think going forward, we'll see if Dogecoin can get back up to 28 cents and 30 cents here. But I think we have another level to be looking out for is this 37-cent level here. That's your 1618. And then you got a 2618 at 52 cents for Dogecoin. And if I zoom back out here, 37 cents is a level that Dogecoin was trading at. It's actually trading higher than that back here in November of 2024. So I think when we start getting into these levels here, like 32 cents and 37 cents, 40 cents here, this is a level that people bought a year ago, and they've been on the water ever since, and they're probably going to click the sell button just to break even again on Dogecoin at like anywhere between 30 and 40 cents here. So that's an area to be looking out for your take profit targets on Dogecoin. Moving on from there, we'll take a look at the Shiba Inu. Where is Shiba? There you are. Alright, we're currently looking at Shiba Inu, currently trading at 1301, down 4.9% today. And what do we got here for Shiba Inu? Wow. I mean, that does look like a nasty red candle there. Let me just get rid of this. We clearly broke out of this symmetrical triangle that we were looking at, this downtrend for Shiba Inu. So good to see that Shiba Inu was able to do that. And I did have a take profit target here at 1400, 1417. We kind of hit that this weekend. And there was another take profit target at 1601. And that's basically the highs here in July. We got up to like 1600 on Shiba Inu. And 1598 to be exact on Coinbase Exchange. But still, this area was an area that acted as resistance in the past here. So that is a target that we're looking for. If we do get up to that area, I would consider selling some Shiba Inu at 1601. And then, yeah, we did hit that take profit target here earlier this weekend at 1400, 1417. Actually, how high do we get? 1484. Okay, Shiba Inu. But now it looks like we're coming back down to the 200-day moving average at 1298. That's literally where we're at. We're literally at the 200-day moving average, trying to hold that as support right now. If we lose that, I mean, you got sideways trading action here back at 1230. Hopefully these people here that bought in early September and late August, hopefully they're not anxious to sell Shiba Inu. Yeah, you could probably get some cheap Shiba Inu like they did at like 1230, 1200. But yeah, you can see right now, Mike, I'm not even using Fibonacci on this analysis here for Shiba Inu. I'm just looking at previous price action, support and resistance, candle body, wicks and closes to get my targets here. I could do a Fibonacci, but I think it would just add more clutter to the chart here. I wouldn't be surprised if we are hitting some Fibonacci levels though on Shiba Inu. I'll just quickly do it real quick here. If I did a Fibonacci from like the move down here in June to the move up here in July. Okay. Oh wow, see? There you go. 1400 was your 6.5 golden pocket number. And then 1484 was a 786 retracement. And we literally came right to the T. You see, like, this is why I love using Fibonacci. Because, like, if you're day trading this, how do you predict, like, you know, how high this is going to go? Well, you use Fibonacci. And Fibonacci says that 1484 was the level to look for. We literally came right up to 1484 before we got knocked back down on Shiba Inu here. And now you're coming down to, yeah, possibly the 0.32 retracement at 1256 maybe. So, Fibonacci is still pretty useful to do. CC wants to look at Moodang. Alright, we'll take a look at Moodang. And then, I'm probably going to make that the last request. Because I got some things I need to do. I still gotta go to the gym. But I'm actually gonna do a live stream later on tonight, guys, here. I'm not sure when. Probably around like maybe between 8 p.m. I might start at 7 p.m. or 8 p.m. and then do another 2-hour live stream. So you'll see me again here later on tonight, guys. If you want to come look at the charts again. Try to maybe do some live trading as well. See, like look at like Mexi Exchange here. Try to do some trades here. Especially after, I mean, right now I'd be interested in trying to buy all this chaos in the market right now. But yeah, I'm going to try to do some live trading if I can later on tonight. And also answer your questions and look at the charts, look at your requests as well. Right now, George Abelson, I'm trying the long virtuals. And I'm just doing one trade. I'm not trying to do crazy amount of trades. There's going to be a lot of volatility this week, so I think the best thing to do for day traders so they don't lose their shirt or get messed up with their emotions. I think this week's a good week to have small positions and less leverage. Because you're going to get a lot of volatility that's going to make up for the less leverage out there. And the volatility is also going to make up for the fact that your position is small. You do not want to be trading with a big position and high leverage, because that's just going to mess you up this week. Because you'll be right, and the asset might go in the direction that you think it's going to go, but then you'll get stopped out, and then they'll still send it in the direction that you're predicting it to go, and that's going to be frustrating as hell. So I think this week, with FOMC on Wednesday, I think you're better off just doing light leverage and small positions, and don't overtrade. Just do maybe like 1 or 2 trades a day, if you can. You'll get rewarded if you can just be disciplined this week, whether we go up or down, short or long. All right, let's look at Moodang. And then that's going to be it for me today. I've been live for about a couple hours. I appreciate you guys checking me out. If you guys want to see more of me, you got to come check me out at like 12 p.m. Eastern time is when I normally go live. And I try to do like a 1 hour, 2 hour live stream from that point on. But you are lucky enough, I am in the mood to do another live stream later on tonight. So you'll see me go live probably like at 7 or 8 p.m. And I'll try to do another 2 hour live stream. Alright, so we're looking at Moodang, currently trading at 18 pennies, down 15%. But that's after it had a pretty good weekend, though. Moodang was partying along with Solana, trying to create higher highs and stuff like that. Moodang went up on Friday 24%, and then it went up another 17% on Saturday. Then we kind of like sobered up a little bit, and now we're getting the the crash down here on Moodang. But Moodang was looking like a potential short, in my opinion, this weekend with the crazy impulse move that we had. And we came up to the Fibonacci here, this 618 golden pocket and 6.5. I can just scroll in a little bit so you can see the numbers. I was looking for 22 and 23, almost 24 cents here as possible short targets for Moodang, according to the Fibonacci here. And you can see that's where we came up to. We came up to like about 23.5 cents here on Moodang before the party came to an end. And the cops got called in, and the bears came in and destroyed the party for Moodang. Okay, now if Moodang continues to go to lower prices here, we sliced through that 0.5 retracement, so that's no longer in play. We could come down to the 50-day moving average, this green line here, and the 100-day moving average sitting at 16 cents, 16.167 pennies here. That's an area for us to look out for. It's also an area where the 0.382 is sitting at. That's at about 15.5 pennies. So I think anywhere between 15.5 pennies and 16.5 pennies is where Moodang might come down to if we're going to continue being bearish and having a bad day here for Moodang. Yeah, 15.5, 16.5 pennies is where I would be targeting to try and get like a long maybe. And then you can just try to put your stop loss a little bit tight, or you make it loose. You can put your stop loss below 200 moving average. If you're not leverage trading, you put your stop loss at like 13 cents or 12 cents below the 200-day moving average, and I think you'll be all right. But this is good to see that you got a breath. You had life being breathed into this asset here the last few days, because it's been brutal for Moodang, right? You've been making lower highs and just doing sideways consolidation ever since May of 2025. It hasn't been, Moodang has seen better days here in early May, where we got that launch from like 3 cents all the way to like what, 34, 35 cents, and you had like a 10x in like less than 1 week. So yeah, it needed to cool down, and it's cooled down, and it's done this consolidation. But you got that breath of fresh life right here in the middle of September. And I think you can still be bullish on the long term for Moodang as long as you're above that 200-day moving average. If you're just spot trading it, if you're not doing leverage trading, now I put that stop loss right below the 200-day moving average, like 12 cents. Because if we lose 12 cents, then there's something wrong with Moodang, and this is a fake out and another lower high, just like you did here in July. And do you want to stick around to find out how bad it could get for Moodang? Probably not. So that's why I put my stop loss with the 200-day moving average if I'm spot trading this. All right, so that's Moodang downside target. I think you scoop up some Moodang between 15 and 16.5 cents. Upside target. Let's try to get back up to that golden pocket again at 23 cents. And then let's try to get above the highs here in July when we saw this thing at 24, almost 25 pennies. And then we could talking about maybe Moodang going up to like 30 pennies again. But you got some work to do here. Definitely got some work to do. You're welcome, CC. And I appreciate you guys coming on to the live stream here and putting in your requests. We'll try to go live again same time tomorrow, but I'm also going to go live later on tonight, so be on the lookout for that. You probably see me on like a bonus live stream here where we'll take a look at the charts again, and we'll also try to do some live trading again, and I'll try to answer your questions about the markets as best as I can, and we'll just go from there. CC, you'll be working. Well, if you can catch me during a lunch break, that's fine. But CC, you can also find me on the Meet Damien YouTube channel, and you'll see my live streams here, right? Like I'm going live right now on YouTube, and you can watch the replays of my live streams on YouTube. I don't think they got that for TikTok, but on YouTube you can watch the replays here. Okay. And don't forget to try to subscribe to me if you haven't on YouTube as well. Appreciate that as well. But yeah, guys, that's gonna be it. I will see you guys later on tonight, and also see you guys tomorrow. Take care, and good luck trading in whatever asset you decide to get into.